So they say that when something's really American, it's as American as apple pie. When I think of this dish, I think I'm as Korean American as this K-pie. I'm going to prepare the pie crust. It's really easy if you use a food processor. I'm going to add the salt, cold butter, and you want to pulse this. Sizes of the butter pieces should be about the size of peas. Milk actually mixes better when it's warm. I'm going to add my 2 egg yolks, whisk it a little bit. So I'm going to want to divide it in half because this dough tends to get warm and soft really quickly. It helps to keep the dough nice and pliable. I'm going to go ahead and down some flour on my work surface. So kind of like pressing down a little bit. You can divide it roughly in half. If you're making pie crust in the summer, what I found works really well is if you freeze the butter for like a good 20 minutes, and that'll help give you a little bit more time to work with it. So now your dough is ready to chill in the fridge. Now we're going to prepare the pork belly. You want enough water that it'll cover the pork once it goes in. The onion, the shiitake mushrooms, the ginger, and garlic. I like to add a little bit of coffee sometimes. It also helps with getting rid of porkiness. Simmer for about 2 hours. It's really tender and it has a nice color on it. So our pork belly has cooled, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut. This recipe, just like kimchi jjigae, you're gonna want sour kimchi. When you fry kimchi, a whole nother flavor profile comes out. All right, so now we're ready to start frying up the pork and kimchi mixture, the pork butt. So all this liquid you're seeing coming out from the pork right now, you're gonna want to see it evaporate. So I'm gonna add my pork belly. Try to get it to crisp up a little bit. Go ahead and add your kimchi. You're gonna add the sugar, sesame oil, soy sauce. All right, so I think this is pretty much ready now. And we're gonna set this aside to cool just a little bit. Now I'm going to prepare our gochujang sauce. When I first was trying to figure out this recipe, I made it without the sauce at first. Felt like it was lacking a little something, right? Like when you bite into a pie, you want it to be juicy and moist inside. I make a pretty mean gochujang sauce, so I figured if I add that, it could work to have that sauciness. And so that's where this idea came from. Add apple cider. This is optional. You can just add some sugar. Sesame oil, vinegar. Lastly, our sugar. We're going to add this to the kimchi pork mixture. I'm gonna go ahead and boil the potatoes. For potatoes, I highly recommend boiling them with the skin on. It just helps retain a lot of the flavor from the potato. So these potatoes have been boiling. I'm gonna do my fork test. It went in really easily. I'm gonna cut these into about 1/2-inch chunks. For this amount of butter. For the salt, however much you like. All right, so our dough has chilled. After it's chilled, you'll see these little specks of butter evenly distributed throughout, and that's a sign that you did a pretty good job. So you want it to be 1/8 of an inch thickness. So I'm gonna cut out my pie rounds. I have a circular cutter, which is almost 6 inches in diameter. If you don't have anything exactly like this, you can use just a bowl that's about 6 inches in diameter and just use a knife, cut around the bowl, that's fine too. Now I'm gonna go ahead, add the gochujang sauce. 50 grams of the kimchi pork mixture. The answer to how much you should put in is really as much as you can. A little bit of potato, say about 20 grams, a little bit of egg white, and this acts as a glue. So you can kind of press the dough together and then fold it over and press down with your thumb and fold it over. And you're just gonna keep going. So you're gonna repeat these with the remaining shells. And when they're all ready to go, you're gonna take your egg yolk. So give it a really nice golden sheen when it's baked up. We're going to bake these in a preheated oven to 425 degrees. Right, so these are ready to bake. So we're gonna go ahead and try our K-pie. It's got this really nice buttery crust, and paired with the kimchi pork and the potato, this is like the ultimate comfort food for me. So when you have a chance, try it out.